Words of our Divine Mother from the book The Mother, Words of the Mother, Volume 13, page 75, topic I am with you. One sadhak comes up to the mother and says, Sweet mother, I am with you. That you say, what does it mean exactly? When we pray or struggle with a problem within ourselves, are we really heard? Always, in spite of our clumsiness and imperfection, in spite of even of our bad will and our error? And who hears? You who are with us? And is it you in your supreme consciousness and impersonal divine force, the force of yoga, or you, mother in a body with our physical consciousness? A personal presence that really knows each thought and each act and not any anonymous force? Can you tell us how, in what way you are present with us? Sri Aurobindo and you, it is said, form one and the same consciousness. But is there a personal presence of Sri Aurobindo and your personal presence, two things distinct, each playing its particular role? For this, our Divine Mother says, I am with you because I am you, or you are me. I am with you, that signifies a world of things, because I am with you on all levels, on all planes, from the supreme consciousness down to my most physical consciousness. Here in Pondicherry, you cannot breathe without breathing my consciousness. It saturates the atmosphere utmost materially in the subtle physical and extends to the lake 10 kilometers from here. Farther, my consciousness can be felt in the material, vital, and then on the mental plane and the other higher planes everywhere. When I came here for the first time, I felt the atmosphere of Sri Aurobindo, felt it materially at a distance of 10 miles, 10 nautical miles, not kilometers. It was very sudden, very concrete, an atmosphere pure, luminous light that lifts up you up. And the Divine Mother continues to say, it is now long since Sri Aurobindo has put up everywhere in the ashram. This reminds that you all know, always behave as if the Mother was looking at you, because she is indeed always present. This is not a mere phrase, it is not simply words, it is a fact. I am with you in a very concrete manner, and they who have a subtle vision can see me. In a general way, my force is there, constantly at work, constantly shifting the psychological elements of your being to put them in new relations and defining to yourself the different facets of your nature so that you may see what should be changed, developed, rejected. And then says our Divine Mother, but that apart, there is a special, very special personal tie between you and me, between all who have turned to the teaching of Sri Aurobindo and myself. And it is very well understood. Distance does not count here. You may be in France, you may be at the other part of the world, or in Pondicherry. This tie is always true and living. And each time there comes a call, each time there is a need for me to know that I may send out a force, an inspiration, a protection, or anything, a sort of message comes to me all of a sudden, and I do the needful. These communications reach me evidently at any moment. You must have seen me more than once stop suddenly in the middle of a sentence or a work. It is because something comes to me, a communication, and I do concentrate. With those whom I have accepted as disciples, to whom I have said yes, there is more than a tie, there is an emanation of me. This emanation wants me whenever it is necessary and tells me what is happening. Indeed, I receive intimations constantly, but not all are recorded in my active memory. I would be flooded. The physical consciousness acts like a filter. Things are recorded on a subtle plane. They are there in a latent state, something like a piece of music that is recorded without being played, and when I need to know with my physical consciousness, I make contact with this subtle physical plane and the disc begins to turn. Then I see how things are, the development in time, the actual result. And if for some reason you write to me asking for my help and I answer I am with you, it means that the communication with you becomes active. You come into my active consciousness for a time, for the time necessary. And this tie between you and me is never cut. There are people who have long ago left the ashram in a state of revolt, and yet I keep myself informed of them. I attend to them. You are never abandoned. In truth, I hold myself responsible for everyone, even for those who I've met only 1 second in my life. Now remember one thing, Sri Aurobindo and myself are one and the same consciousness, one and the same person. Only when this force or this presence, which is the same, passes through your individual consciousness, it puts on a form, an appearance which differs according to your temperament, your aspiration, your need, the particular turn of your being. Your individual consciousness is like a filter or a pointer. If I may say so, it makes a choice and fixes one possibility out of the infinity of divine possibilities. And the Divine Mother says, in reality, the Divine gives to each individual exactly what he expects of him. Let me repeat this for you. In reality, says our Divine Mother, in reality, the Divine gives to each individual exactly what he expects of him. If you believe that the Divine is far away and cruel, he will be far away and cruel because it will be necessary for your ultimate good that you feel the wrath of God. He will be Kali for the worshippers of Kali and beatitude for the Bhakta. And he will be the all-knowledge of the seeker of knowledge, the transcendent impersonal of illusionist. He will be an aesthete with an aesthete and the love of the lover. He'll be brotherly and close, a friend, always faithful, always ready to succor for those who feel him as the inner guide of each moment at every moment. And if you believe that he can wipe away every problem, every tension, everything, he will wipe away all your faults, all your errors tirelessly at every moment. You can feel his infinite grace. You can feel his infinite grace. The Divine is indeed what you expect of him in your deepest aspiration. And our Divine Mother continues to say, and when you enter into this consciousness, where you see all things in a single look, the infinite multitude of relations between the Divine and the man, you see how wonderful all that is in all details. You can look at the history of mankind and see how much the Divine has evolved according to what men have understood, desired, hoped, dreamed, and how he was materialist with the materialist, and how he grows every day and becomes nearer and more luminous according as human consciousness widens itself. Each one is free to choose. The perfection of this endless variety of relations of man with God throughout the history of the world is an ineffable marvel, and all that together is only 1 second of the total manifestation of the Divine. Our Divine Mother says, the Divine is with you according to your aspiration. Let me repeat. Our Divine Mother says, the Divine is with you according to your aspiration. Naturally, that does mean that he bends to the caprices of your outer nature. I speak here of the truth of your being, and yet sometimes he does fashion himself according to your outer aspirations, and if, like the devotees, you live alternately in a separation and union and ecstasy and despair, the Divine also will separate from you and unite with you accordingly as you believe. The attitude is thus very important, even the outer attitude. People do not know how important is faith, how faith is a miracle, creator of miracles. If you expect at every moment to be lifted up and pulled towards the Divine, he will come to lift you, and he will be there quite closer. ever closer to be near me. In order to be always near me really and effectively, you must become more and more sincere, open and frank towards me. Cast away all dissimulation and decide to do nothing that could not tell me immediately. Do only what you could do before me without feeling embarrassed. Say only what you could repeat to me without any difficulty. Be very sincere and straightforward. Harbor nothing within yourself which you cannot show me without fear. Do nothing which you could be ashamed of before me. Try to be spontaneous and simple like a child in your relationship with me. It will save you from many difficulties. And then our Divine Mother says, be simple. Be happy, remain quiet, do your work as well as you can, keep yourself always open towards me. This is all that is asked of you. These are the divine words of our Divine Mother.